Happy Tuesday. Oh no, this
Happy
is coming out on Thursday.
Thursday. Happy Thursday.
We're pretending it's Thursday.
We live our future. We're traveling. We're travelers.
There we go. See, we're already into it. The time is an illusion anyways. We're on a day.
We are here.
Uh, so anyone who's watching, thanks for tuning in. This is the third episode of having some wonderful friends and clients and mentors that are going to be on. And just like I preface at the beginning of every single one, if you're looking for structure and interview, this is not the place for you.
You won't get it here.
If you're looking for a good old chat and maybe even some bloopers, who knows? This is the place for you. So, um, today I'm hanging out. I'm having coffee. What are you having?
Yeah, I had decaffeinate for sure. So that's
First,
it.
as
I've
well.
got both mugs. I've got water and coffee. Yeah,
Oh, me too.
hydrate.
Protein. Us perimenopausal women need our protein
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
caffeine. So I have Andrea today. Thanks for saying yes.
Yes, and it was a very easy yes. So
Yeah.
thank you for
Oh, that's
inviting me. Yeah.
yeah. And I always start with I feel like 10, 12, like or maybe I don't know if it's been that long since we met each other, but I
I
always
have
feel
no
like
idea.
everybody who's been coming on, it's been like it's been a long time that I've
Yeah.
actually like known them. Um, and I know that I met you through my friend, through our mutual friend, and our mutual walking. Andrea, Megan, and I started our own walking club, and
Yeah.
this past couple of weeks, our plates have been pretty full, so we haven't
Yeah, it's the
done
best
as
therapy.
much.
Honestly, I think more therapy needs to be walking. It needs to be prescribed
Yeah.
that way because it has been such a difference.
Mm.
And yeah, when we don't go, I truly miss it. So yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know. I think we've talked about this a few times, like when we've been on our walks, like for me to just be like, okay, I'm gonna go do this myself. Because I was saying to you guys, like one Sunday I was there and at the LRC and I was like walking by myself, and my brain was like, okay, you've done enough laps, like just leave, you're done. Oh, your knee hurts. Oh, your
hmm,
shoulder hurts. And but when I'm just there and you and I and Megan are just like walking around the track, all of a sudden it's like an hour and a half or an hour and
yeah,
15 minutes, and we're like, oh, okay, like we better get going. And I think it's
yeah.
the connection that we all
Oh
like we
yeah,
were talking about.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
and having that like, we've talked about it too before, but that we're hardwired for connection. So that
Mhm.
piece of being able to connect with somebody who is in maybe like the same life phase, or like I draw on you for a lot of mentors kind of energy as well, because you've done it before me, or you've got that wisdom, and that connection piece is so important, and we forget about how important it is when it comes down to your health, not just the walking. Like the walking is great, the
Mhm.
it flows like that hour
Yeah.
just goes by so fast, and then you're like, well, I can squeeze another half an hour, like let's just get this in. Meanwhile, we've just completed like 8 kilometers, and I would never walk 8 kilometers by myself. But
Mhm.
so hitting that piece of that connection, but then having those, you guys are my accountability buddies. Like I will show up for you, and I will sit at home and go, well, maybe half an hour in bed is a little, I'll get it tomorrow. So, you know,
Yeah. And
that
it's
accountability
just
piece for me is big.
yeah, and it's just I think that connection, although it's like the purpose is to go for a walk, but it's also connection without purpose because no
Mhm.
one like goes there with an agenda. It's just like we start walking and then all of a sudden like a topic comes up and then we all just start talking about it and then another topic
Yep.
comes up. And I feel like I really miss that piece of I guess it's like when sometimes when you're like going to share with people and then you feel like there's an agenda to
Yeah.
like fix it or something versus like just free talking, you're just walking that, oh yeah, just or free listening maybe
Hmm.
is the part that I really enjoy about that too.
Well, and this is also sort of where my journey took off too, is reading a book. It was called You're Not Listening. And I was like,
Oh.
okay. I was like, such a great read. I of course can't remember the author's name, but talking about how starved we are as a society when it comes down to listening and connection, because we have the things in front of our faces. There's a lot of online everything. People, when you walk down the street, we're not looking at each other in the eyes anymore. We're looking at our phones. We're trying to figure out where we're going. We're reacting to things that, are sort of spur of the moment, and we're lacking that connection with each other, and we don't listen. So what I'm finding is that the biggest part of the coaching that I've been taking is that
Mhm.
it's this space where I shut up and I just listen to what those people are
Mm.
saying. And a lot of the comments I get back are, thank you so much. Like, that was just so nice to have that space to get off my chest what I need to get off, or to just have you listen, like how important that is. And if you think about it, we do a lot of talking and we think we need to fill the
Mhm.
space, and we think we need to come prepared to those walks with like a script or something, or if you're meeting somebody new for their first time, or you're just not able to roll with it as you were before. And it's an interesting thing, but yeah, this whole theory that we're not listened to enough, and it
Mhm.
is such a shortage. And when you get that moment and people are listening to you, I think there's a couple things that happen. Either you get freaked out and you're like, whoa, like this silence is weird. What's going on? Or you just word vomit and you just go, and then all of a sudden
Mhm.
it's that hour and a half later, and you're like, well, that appointment was only for half an hour, but here we are. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think exactly, I think there's awareness on both sides, right?
Hmm.
Like, because sometimes people, they come and they just like talking. And sometimes you do need to, you can hold space for that. And then sometimes when you get really good at listening, you're hearing what they're not saying. And then you can redirect and you can ask a different question.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you can kind of see them stop and they're like, hmm, I've never thought about that before. And
Yeah.
then the other part is our own self-awareness around, do have we done enough of our own work? Whether
Mhm.
that's, I'm not saying this is just about clients. I'm saying even in our own friendships and our
Oh, yeah.
relationships, have we done enough of our own work that we can allow that person to be in whatever state they are, whether that is grief or anger or sadness or um, excitement, can we
Hmm.
just let them be in that and just listen to them without having to think that we're responsible or that we have to do
Yeah.
anything? It takes such awareness on both sides, I
Yes.
think.
And it takes such a weight off. I know that as an empathetic person, and a energetically, I like to take on other people's stuff. And for the longest time, I 100% was known as the lady with all the answers.
Mm,
I strive so hard to be the person that had the answer for you, or like, I'm known in my office as like, well, Andrea will have it. She'll know what to do, or, those kind of things.
mm,
And that is really heavy to carry all those things, and
mhm,
having to have all the answers or having to find them. And then when you show up to a conversation and you're really just showing up to listen, if you're just showing up to hear what they're saying, and you're not going into the conversation already thinking about what kind of response you're going to give, because a lot of people show up and they're not actually listening to you.
mhm,
They're
mhm.
thinking about what they're going to respond with next. So then,
Next.
you have this, the first sentence was about, well, I'm having these pains or something like that. And already automatically your brain is going, if I'm a fixer, I'm like, okay, well, I've got like 3 different places I could send you. I've got this really great vitamin I'm taking. So you're already waiting for that response. And if you're like me and you're of the neurodivergent, mind, I'm already like in the next, like I'm waiting for you to
Mhm,
take a breath so that I can jump in and tell you how you can fix this. And if you show up to a conversation just ready to listen, and knowing that it's not my responsibility to fix this. I don't have to take on
mhm,
what you have. And actually, it's going to help you figure out how you're going to do it. If I just ask you a question like, what else is important for you?
mhm. Yeah.
And then
I have
they
a
go, "Whoa,
question.
yeah,
What do you think you were getting out of being that like fixer or
ooh,
known
the
for
fixer."
being the person that has everything? What do you think
Yeah.
that there was something you were getting out of that?
Hell yes.
Yeah.
I was 100% hustling for my worth, and I was
Mhm.
working so hard to be valuable. And
Mhm.
that meant having the answers. That meant being somebody that you couldn't have um, not in the room, I guess, you know? And I think that one of the biggest things in this last, I would say probably it's like 3 or 5, 3 to 5 years, is that when I was 37, I got officially diagnosed with ADHD.
Mhm.
And that lit such a rocket under my butt when it came down to figuring out who I was, figuring out how I operated my life before. It brought on a whole bunch
Mhm.
of emotions when it came down to what have I been missing? Like, what had I not had this before? Like, who could I have been? What could I have done? Like, so it was just this crazy transition. And one of the things that I learned was, as somebody that has had undiagnosed ADHD, especially in women, is that we are high action, high efficient. We get a lot of stuff done, but we also struggle with our self-worth like nobody's business, because
Mhm.
for the
Mhm.
longest time we've been told that if you just try harder, if you just focus a little bit, you could be this, you could do, like, she's a great person. I love her personality, but she's a mess. And you're like, you've basically been told your entire life that something's
Mhm.
wrong. And because I don't fit into this system that was never built for me, I have taken on that theory that something's wrong with me. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not enough. I have to hustle harder than everybody else. I have to know more. I have to like work harder. I have to be valuable. And this is how I'm going to be valuable. And that in turn
Mhm.
turns into, you're exhausted. You're doing everything. You don't think you can ask for help. You don't think that you'll be valuable if you have to ask for help. And it's such a sad thing because that's not
Mhm.
how it is. And um, yeah, there was a little bit of like grief. There was like mourning going on because I was like,
Oh.
wow, like again, like a thinking back, I'm 37. I've been doing this my entire life. This makes so much sense now. I don't know why, I didn't notice it. But all my friends did. All my family were like, well, yeah, of course. It's like, how come
Like,
nobody told me? They're like, you're basically a squirrel. Like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, but
but I think that's the thing. The difference between that is that for so many women, I think you're speaking for a lot of people,
Mhm.
is that because it was just so not it all of a sudden became your personality
Yeah,
versus, hey, I'm struck. This is how I'm like sort of
yeah,
surviving. And, oh, that's just her personality. She's just
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Until, yeah, you start to realize. And this is the other thing too, because sometimes I used to be on the fence around like this idea of like labeling or like diagnosing, because sometimes you can see where people they just take that and they just live it, it's like, but it's often from a place of I can't,
Mhm.
because I have this. But what I've been seeing over this last little bit is from people, other women, other men, that have gotten, a later in life diagnosis for something, whether it be autism, neurodivergent,
Yeah,
ADHD, that it's really helped them to step into themselves. Like they're like,
yeah,
okay, finally, it's like I I am who I am because of the way I perceive the world and because of the way I think. Now, if I can start, and this is why I think this is so beautiful for the birth your medicine, because when you can take that and go, okay, this is what I can use it for to
mhm,
fuel me in these areas, but also realizing that I do have limits and capacities, and I'm responsible for taking care of that part too. I think it's beautiful. I think more
yeah,
people are stepping into who they are because of that diagnosis.
yeah. And it sets you up to do that deep dive. They I don't
Mhm.
think that there's enough people that know themselves well enough.
Mhm.
And that's part of my mission is to be able to create that space where you can do those things. You can really be the person in the room figuring out your own stuff. And I don't think there's enough space for that. And I love therapy, and I love all the great things that I've been able to get from that. But I find that it's always sort of centered on I need to get fixed. And this isn't
Yeah.
about fixing. This is about figuring out who you are and being able to put things in place and build your own system so that you're not constantly bending towards the world. The world's going to bend a little bit towards you so that it's okay. And
Mm.
it's been able to give me that space where I can say, you know what, I'm not great at this. So can I get somebody else to do this for me? I don't have to be good at everything. Whereas previously, I thought I had to be good at everything. And if I wasn't, you know, nasty self-talk. It's really bad, and it can
Mhm.
really do damage to your mental health. And then you're fighting all of those things, and you're not being able to be yourself. You're
Mhm.
constantly masked. So that's one of those things that I was really good at. So I'm really good at masking up, and a lot of high capacity women are, whether you have
Mm.
ADHD or not, you are masking up to be what the world needs you to be in order for
Mhm.
the world to give you what you think you need, which is, I need to feel valued. But then
Yeah.
when you get to know yourself better, and when you get to sort of do those deep dives, and you get to, I'm an assessment nut right now. Like, I love the
Uh,
personal assessments, and between like values assessment, there's a Kobe assessment. I love like just getting to know yourself and going, that makes so much sense why I do that. And then how
yeah.
that turns into your relationships get better, your communication gets better, your leadership gets better. You become a better supervisor at work, you become a better coworker, you become a better parent, like, all of
Mhm.
these things. So it like I have goosebumps right now because it
I
just changes
love the
everything.
assessment. Yeah,
Yes, it
because it
just
gives you
changes
it gives you
everything.
that big picture of like, and
Yeah.
again, I think it also shows like it helps me to focus on what I'm good at
Mhm.
and the things that I'm not so great at. And like you said, just let someone else take that. But here's where I really strive. Or even learning how, because I feel like once we learn those things about ourselves, it's so much easier, especially like when you were talking about like being empathetic and being used to energy. When we know those things about ourselves, we find it a lot easier when we're communicating with others. We might not know 100% because we don't know if they're masking or, you know,
Mhm.
but we can sort of pick up on like what works for this one, especially when you're in a supervisory role at work, right? It's like
Mhm.
this style of communication does not work with this person. Oh, but it works with this person because I now have an idea, from your assessments
Yeah.
of what other people's needs are. And I think that
Mhm.
even with learning, right? I mean, you have those tactile learners, you have those visual learners, you have those speaking learners. And when you can hit all of those pieces, more than likely people are retaining it in a little bit of information, a different way. But it's the same as what you're saying. When we're communicating with people, um, then if we can have that understanding of ourselves, we can more likely have better communication with the other people in our life.
Yeah. And you're not not some I mean, I'm angry. I'm an angry person sometimes, but um feel like I'm less annoyed maybe because I can think of it as, well, what is their perspective? If somebody cuts me off in traffic is usually a pretty good one because everybody sort of has to deal with that. And even finding it like, my kids are like, "Oh, what a jerk." I'm like, "Well, maybe their wife is in labor. Maybe they just had, I don't know,
I've
maybe their
had
grandpa's
this.
sick. Maybe the dogs are running around the yard and they shouldn't be like, you're able to sort of pull back and not be so angry and like make that judgment straight away.
So
It's
quick.
enabled me to sort of go, okay, well, maybe I don't know what that person is going through. Um, so I'm just going to extend some kindness. Yeah, sure. Come on in. Like, we've only been waiting in
Mhm.
traffic for half an hour and it's fine. You just cut the line. It's whatever. Is it going to break me?
Yeah.
No, but it might make your day better. So I think that that kind of kindness is, I hope it's contagious, because I
Mhm.
want my kids to be able to see that and go, okay, well, if somebody's having a bad day, if they have a teacher that's having a bad day, maybe you try and make them laugh, or you try and make their day a little bit better by giving them a smile. Like whatever that small thing you can do is, you don't have to change the world, but
Yeah.
one step at a time. And I think that being able to understand myself better and really go, oh yeah, like now I know why this is happening. Um, I I am able to be less less angry. I'm a happier squirrel now.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is too is now that you sort of have two perspectives of yourself, I think that it also can give you a perspective of someone like the big picture. And I've
Yeah.
had this conversation with my kids numerous times because I think you're right. It's like it's a lead by example. And maybe they come home and they're talking about someone who treated them a certain way. And instead of just going into the fact that they're treating them that way, I always say, like, okay, again, same thing. Let's zoom out a little bit. Like, we don't know what's going on in their home. We don't know what's going on with them. So
Mhm.
can we and it's not about letting it happen, but it's about giving it a little bit of grace when you can see it from a different perspective. And I know for myself, for the longest time, I think, because some of the stuff you're describing is kind of like a functional freeze even,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
for the longest time, I found myself in functional freeze, which then led me to a place of like control. And so
Yeah.
when I'm in control, that means my way is the right way. So I go this way and I go this way and I do it like this. And if someone else wants to take another loop around, I'm just like, why would you do that? Like I just didn't have any sort of compassion or
Mhm.
open-mindedness that there was another possibility. But now I realize that was more about functional freeze. So if I can get from point A to point B, I'm certainly just going to be doing the bare minimum to get there
Yeah.
rather than being like, hey, let's try this way. No, that takes too much bandwidth. Whereas I think now that I've kind of learned that about myself, it's like, actually, we need that sometimes. We need
Yeah.
the destination less taken. We need, to just go away from the recipe a little bit sometimes in order to create a different awareness.
Yeah. And like you'd mentioned, like having that sort of top down view, it's not often that we get to sort of be pulled up and
Mhm.
um, see that experience from a different perspective, especially because you're just in it. You're, like you said, you're
Yeah.
trying to get from point A to point B as fast as you can, or as efficient as possible, because you're busy, you got things going on. But it's not often that we're able to sort of take that bird's eye view. And then when you do, you're like, oh, like all of a sudden, like I'm just having these visions of like, if you have that bird's eye view, you can see this other person and maybe they're carrying something really heavy. Like you can see that they're struggling. You can see that, their path is all over the place. Maybe they are a little bit lost. This isn't, or they've been going for a really long time, like, and same
Mhm.
thing for you. Like you can sort of step back and see where your path has gone, and maybe where you're
Mhm.
stopping and spending time, or, you know, struggling or carrying or that kind of thing. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it often I find in my experience it leads to a bit more compassion towards the
Oh
other
yeah.
person because
Yeah.
instead of us just going right to that place of judgment about
Yeah.
the action or the thing, we can have a little bit more compassion because it's like, oh yeah, I'm also in a place. And before we started the call, you and I were kind of just talking a little bit about what we're going to talk about. And I like the term you said, yeah, like right now I'm just I'm kind of in the messy middle. And
Yes.
I think that I think that's where you and I have a lot of commonality too, is because I think sometimes when we're in the messy middle,
Mhm.
we it allows us to be really authentic with people, and that's how people
Mhm.
also connect to us because, if people are expecting just like this YouTube channel, if people are expecting, button ups and,
Right. Yes.
professional and, okay, I'm here and I got my notebook and I'm going to take notes, like that's not me because like I I want people to feel safe because
Mhm.
I'm still in the messy middle sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe my messy middle is up the road a little bit.
Mhm.
I've gone through the puddle, back there that you're going through, but it's not about perfection. It's about just that different awareness because we've been through it at a different point in time.
Yeah. And there's I can't remember where I saw the visual, but it was talking about, learning, and the messy middle is the learning portion of things.
Mhm.
Like, here's where you are now, and this is what you want to learn, and everything in the middle. It's not linear. It's not going to be a straight line. It's probably not going to be what you expect. It's going to be up and down, and it's going to be, you might go backwards. Like it's totally different for everybody. But I feel like if you're not willing to be courageous enough to sort of get into that messy middle, you're probably not going to go very far. And I think for me, it was like I was done not going far enough. Like I felt like there's something else I was missing. Like I wasn't betting on myself.
Mm.
I wasn't being courageous. I wasn't being brave. I was very safe. And you're right here. You're fine. But you're not doing any learning. You're not getting any better. You're not, doing any better. It was just I was comfortable. And
Right.
I've
Comfortably uncomfortable.
comfortably, yeah, comfortably unaware, comfortably, ignorance is bliss, and all those things. But there was always something that was just like you need to go this way. Like you need to try it. And
Mhm.
I think that is one of my many assessments. Part of my unique ability is that I get to take life experiences that I put myself in and bring it to other people, and
Mhm.
in a way that they can understand, in a way that they feel safe talking about, in a way that maybe is inspiring for them to figure out what they want or what they want to do. And
Mhm.
you know not to get too stoic about things, but you got one life. Like this, what are you going to do with it? You're going to
Mhm.
comfy is good. I mean,
Avoid the puddles.
yeah, avoid the puddles. Yeah. Well, but whatever, get in it. Like this is, jump in the puddle, put the boots
Mhm.
on, get prepared. And, eh, you may not be able to avoid them, but it might also be the best, worst thing to happen to you. Like that's,
Mhm.
a lot of the learning that we do comes from the biggest either blunders or mistakes or accidents that we have. And it's like, I wouldn't be the person that I am now without having gone through those things and being willing to sort of get messy. And
Mhm.
yeah, I'm 100% in the mess right now.
Yeah.
I'm so dirty. It's just, there's like, yeah.
What do you think, like, do you remember the day? Because I remember you and I talking and, in the card reading, there was
Mhm.
often a lot of the same messages coming up
Yep.
in the when you would come to the 12-month, card thing. Do you remember if there was a specific thing, like a specific moment when you did answer the call? Like when finally, because I feel like the call had been calling you,
Yep.
and then and you would verbalize it to me often, but yeah, do you remember that specific moment where you said, "I'm gonna answer the call"?
Yeah. Like it was, yeah, so I think I think I've told this story. If you know me and if you know me well, I've told you the story of how I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I have been
Mhm.
in an entrepreneurial thinking since I was, I think, 6, trying to sell rocks on the side of my driveway. I just vividly remember this picture of me and this beautiful dress that my mom had made, and I'm selling rocks to people that already had
Mm.
rocks, but it was like I was gonna be a millionaire, and then I, always had that sort of drive. It was in me, but then, um, you know, going to markets, always been super creative. Like really, I love to make things. I like to gift things. I like to, whether it's jewelry or, I used to do like bees wax bomb. Like I've done a whole bunch of things. I always wanted to sort of have that
Oh.
entrepreneurial something, but it's always been on the side. Like it's always been like,
Oh.
it's not going to be like it's just going to be this little side hustle that it's just going to pay for my hobby, or it's going to, you know, and then now looking back at it, that's me not betting on myself. And
Oh.
if we're talking about like, all I go to you. I go to you a lot. There's a lot of text messages, people, when it comes down to like, Lesley, I need some help. I need to figure out what I need. And annoyingly enough, it's the same message almost every time, which
Mhm.
is you have to trust yourself. You've got what you need. You have everything inside you. Trust what you can do. It needs to be written. There was a lot of like, it needs to come out. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay. And I knew this is it. Like, it's the, you know, like, by the way, you all
Yeah.
know what you need to do. You just need to do it. Um, but it's the trust. I don't trust myself. And
Mhm.
I have feel like there was a lot of that messaging of like, I can't trust myself, or I'm not going to be good enough, or I'm worried that I'm not going to be enough. There's a lot of not enough. And I think a lot of
Mhm.
people struggle with that. And the not enough keeps you quiet and it keeps you um, comfortable. And I
Yeah.
do remember, I 100% think, you know, things happen for a reason and people come into your life exactly when you need them. And I had a coworker who had come in and she also had lots of experience with the ADHD thing. And she was the first one. So coworker now turned really good friend. And she's like, I think maybe you should go get this assessment done and stuff like that, because I was frustrated because I wasn't able to bet on myself because I was never able to complete things. It was really hard for me to do like follow through. These are all the things I'm telling myself. And then all of a sudden I was listening to a podcast and I'm in the bath, I'm trying to relax and I'm listening to this podcast about like women in their 40s or whatever it is with ADHD. And I remember like completely breaking down and just going,
Mhm.
like, that's me. Oh my gosh. And like having this moment of just like complete, the mask has been ripped off. Somebody sees me. And now sort of thinking like there's something on the other side of this. Like, what does
Mm.
happen if I start trusting myself? And then that's what led me to start taking this coaching class. And like, so this, so like the coaching, it's I went through this Canada Coach Academy and I did a lot of research and I was looking into a lot of things because it's expensive. It's like
Mhm.
it's going
Mhm.
back to school. It was tuition. And for me to spend that kind of money on myself and for me to spend that kind of time and commitment on myself was a big deal, because I remember thinking part of the terms were that you couldn't miss more than 4 classes. And I was like, oh my, I'm not going to be able to do that. Like, I'm notoriously, I'm not dependable. I'm like all of these things.
Mhm.
I didn't miss one class. Like it, and then also during
Wow.
this whole, learning, I decided like halfway, not even halfway, it was probably like 3 weeks into this coaches training that I was like, I can't just take the 12-week course. I have to take the 21-week course. Like I have to do, like, if I want to do this, I got to do it really well. I didn't miss
Right.
one frigging class. Like it was just such a good lesson in the things that I'm telling myself, that I can't be trusted. I'm not dependable. I can't commit to anything, are total bullshit. Like it was, that's not it. And so during all of this coaching, I remember, so you have to coach each other and like you get the practice. So as us
Mhm.
students, like we listen and we coach and we do all these things. And I just remember this like magical moment of being listened to and being heard. And it just opens up so many things. And it's like, I was
Right.
like, I have to bring this to so many people. Like, so many people deserve this. This is incredible. This is basically like I was just so pumped about it. And I remember our instructor, she's like, you do your check-in and you do a checkout. And she's like, how are you feeling? I'm like, I am ready for world domination. Like, let's let's do this.
Do
Let's go.
this.
Let's go. But like at that moment of being able to trust myself that I was going to be able to
Mm.
finish this, and even just having that perspective change, like telling a story over and over again about how, I'm not dependable, I'm all these things, and then having somebody ask you the question going, is that really the truth of this story? Could there be something
Right.
else true about this? And I was like, what do you mean something else true? Like, what are you talking about? And then going through this perspective of like, oh, like, so here I am. The things I think about myself are that I'm not dependable, I can't be trusted, all of these things. And here my friends would call me like, I am dependable. I'm super
Dependable.
committed.
Just
I've been in this job for like 18 years now. If that's not commitment, I don't know what is. I was able to get through university. Like this person, like, had a really hard time learning. And all of a sudden, like, all of these truths started coming out. But it wasn't until I started listening and asking, and somebody else had asked those questions of me,
Mhm.
that I was able to find that awareness. And it's like, it sounds super simple. It sounds super simple, but
Yes.
unless you have that time and that space for somebody to pull that awareness out of you, because you're not doing it yourself. It's like going to the
Mm-mm.
gym. No, I'm going to pick up the 15s. I'm not going to pick up the 30s, even though I am very capable of doing the 30s. I'm just going to stick over there with the light
Mhm.
weights. Yeah. So it was like, I remember very vividly that moment of like, I'm betting on myself. I had a little breakdown.
Wow.
I was like,
Yeah.
gotta get it out. And then it was like the next day, I was like, I signed up for the class and I was like, I'm in it. I'm ready. Like, let's go. And it
Yeah.
took me a year to get the training and to do like everything. But I was like, man, I'm so proud of that certificate. Like, I am so pumped about that experience that
That's what I
really,
like about a lot of those trainings too,
oh,
because they're
yes.
they're ultimately for our own
Yeah.
self-awareness and our own circumstances. And then through that, we're able to help someone. But
Mhm.
I also find it so funny when, especially when around that word trusting ourselves,
Mhm.
because we say we don't trust ourselves, yet we trust that aspect that I'm not dependable, I'm not, so
Yeah.
we are trusting ourselves, but we're trusting ourselves in the place that we of our old belief systems versus what if today I just trusted that I'm gonna do this and it
Yeah.
worked out versus that old way of doing things. So whenever people say that to me when they're like, well, I don't trust myself, and I'm not that I'm like, well, why do you trust that about yourself? It's like, oh, well, geez, I never thought about it. I thought that I'm
Yeah.
trusting myself in that way. It's like, well, you are. You're
Hmm.
trusting that you can't do this, or you're trusting that you can't do that.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't it work the opposite way?
Yeah. And you mentioned those beliefs like that.
Mhm.
I find that the limiting beliefs in particular, they're like glue. Like they, or those the evil winners stickers that you can't get off. Like, why
Yeah.
can't this be better? They're sticky. You're trying to rub it off and there's still that residue and it pisses you off. But like they stick around so much longer than they should. And
Mhm.
when you start bringing them up and reframing them, and asking like, is this actually true? Like, what is the evidence that this is true? And then all of a sudden you
Mhm.
get this like journal full of evidence that supports the fact that you can trust yourself, and you do every day.
Mhm.
You're just focusing on the sections that have kept you either small or quiet or comfortable, um
Safe. And I think
safe.
that's
Yeah.
survival. Like, I think you bring up a good point there because it's not even that people don't necessarily think of it as trusting themselves because they're in survival mode. Those
Oh
limited
god.
beliefs
Yeah.
are all there to keep us in that space of
Yeah.
safety and our nervous system, in a place of safety. And then I do think that trust is the other side of that. Once we come out of survival mode and our system knows that we're safe, I think trust is the other side of safety
Hmm.
because we no longer make our decisions based on those limited beliefs of keeping us safe. We make our decisions trusting that our intuition is leading us because there's been times and maybe you'll speak to this maybe too where when we're in that space and we make a decision, we don't even know what the outcome is. It's just like, why did I just quit my job today? Well, everything in my body says, trust, it's fine, it's okay. Or why did it's like, and it's such a different feeling in your body.
Yeah. And I think um that to me sounds like alignment, like it's
Mhm.
like for
Yeah.
like you said today, like thank you for coming. Well, it was an easy yes for me, 100%, because this is definitely in alignment with my purpose and how I want to show up for the world. And so, yeah, 100%, this is an easy yes. And then if you listen to yourself when you're like, oh no, like, if it's not if you can't feel it in your body, as far as like it might be conflicting with, what your values are, what your alignment is, or like you've mentioned that a lot actually, like the survival mode, and how I'm thankful for my body and my brain and my nervous system that keeps me safe. But there's no saber-toothed tiger, there's no bears chasing me. It's a different kind of, I guess, survival when it comes down to nowadays, but it is really carnal, like it is really ancient, that system of ours. And yeah, being able to take care of it is super important for you to be able to do the things that you want to do and live in that alignment.
What do you think? I think about like you've invited me to be a speaker and be
Yeah.
a part of your groups before, and I think about that. I don't know if it's a few years ago, a couple of years ago at least. You were planning your retreat thing in
Yeah.
Canmore, and it didn't go. Ah, like, do you think at that time, like, did you feel deterred and you're like, I'm never going to do this again? Well, I know that's not true because you are doing it again at the end of April, but like, do you remember where was there a point where you're like, no, I'm gonna just keep going because this is what I love doing? Or was there a space where you said, maybe I'm being led in a different direction because these things aren't working out for me?
Yeah, like I started listening a lot more to, I guess, it's the energy, or just like, when things are, I think about like when things are supposed to happen, they tend to be easy. Like the right things pop up, the right people pop up. You ask, really, what do I need to do? And that was sort of part of my ritual. Is I ask in the morning, universe, what do I need to say? Where do I need to be? Who do I need to say it to? And like these kind of
Mm.
things, they just show up, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call, or somebody you know likes you on Instagram, and you are like, hey, like, I don't usually respond to these messages, but do you want to get coffee? Like it just
Mm.
flows in, like
Mm.
the energy flows where it needs to go. And so, yeah, I think I can't remember when it was, but I was planning a retreat in Canmore, and it was kind of like, well, I should be doing this, I should be
Oh.
putting this on. It's been a year since I should be. And
Mm.
in like, if you do take some coaching classes, we talk about the shoulding, and I was shoulding all over myself, as far as the expectations of what I felt I needed to be doing, as opposed to what I wanted to be doing and what was right. And so I was really trying to push this retreat, and there was some people that were really in, and they were like, you were like, yeah, let's make it work. And then all of a sudden things started happening. Like it, I think that maybe along the lines there was a facilitator that couldn't make it, or it wasn't going to happen this way, or I couldn't find, like, it just wasn't easy. I couldn't find the person that I wanted to find, when
Oh.
it came down to, I wanted to do a yoga nidra with cello. And I was like, how hard is it going to be to find a cello? Like, these are the things that I'm good at. I can find these random ass weird things and put them together. And they do, they come together nicely, usually, when it is supposed to be happening. And it wasn't working. And then I think you had mentioned that you're like, actually, like, I'm gonna have my kids that weekend. So like, like, it just started to get a little bit, I was pushing it. And it's
Mm.
some of the things that I have learned, is that when I push things too hard, they break. And I was like, no, this is, I'm gonna eat the cost for like the venue. And I was like, it's just not the right time. And it just didn't feel like the right time. And I trusted it. Um, and I knew I was going to do it again, but it was like there was something else I needed to do. Like, and that's when it was like
Mm.
I needed to take the time, and I still needed to figure myself out. I talk about all the time, is it's like, I'm not standing in front of people saying like I know all the answers. I am in this messy middle with you. I'm trying to figure it out as we go. And I don't have all the answers. But I'm willing to be walking with you. And when it comes down to doing it together, because we're going to learn from each other, and it's just going to be more magical that way, as opposed to you listening to me tell you what you should do. We're going to figure out what the path is best for you, and it's not going to be the same for everybody else. And
Mhm.
that was one of those things that was like, no, I can't push this. Like, it's not worth it. And I knew I was going to do
Mhm.
another one, and there will be, um, yeah. So at the end of April, Leslie's going to come to Rollyview in the middle of, rural bumpkin, Ladue County.
Right in
And
our backyard.
in our backyard, I know, like, yeah, 15 minutes away from each of us.
Mm.
And this is a big one for me, because this is like the launch. This is like the
Mhm.
official launch of me coming
Yeah.
to, like, just sort of putting myself
Yeah.
out there. And it's still an uncomfortable thing for me. Like, I mean, I love to talk, but I'm usually behind something. I'm usually representing somebody else. I'm on behalf of, but I'm showing up as me and my authentic self, and having to put that on social media, having to put that out to, it's a scary thing for me, but I need to do it. I need to get, like, this. It's part of the messy middle. And I think that that's why this is going to be so good, because the right people are going to show up. We're going to have great conversation. We're going to have these awesome circles. And I explained to people about you. And that I was like, if you don't know Lesley, Lesley walks into a room and she just hugs you, like, whether you're touching her or not. It's just like, you just make space feel so good. And I was like, you just need to be in the presence of this person. Like, this is just going to be so good. So, and I think that we've talked about this too before, is like bringing a circle of women together is so powerful. And
Mhm.
that's what this is going to be. And that's where, for me, so hi, I'm Andrea. I am the founder of Wild Horizons Coaching and Leadership. And that's the place that I want. I
Yay!
know, yeah. And now we're in.
She
Um,
claimed it.
I claimed it. I did it. That's the space I want to create for people, is this space where you can be really seen, and you can be really heard, and you can be taken care of. Like, I think part of our advertising for this retreat is that, like, if you've ever felt like you needed to just be tucked in, like if you've gone to the osteopath, or like, somebody puts a warm blanket on you, and you're like, oh,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this is the space I want to create for these
Like
high
all you need to
capacity
do is just
women.
show up. Yeah.
Just show
The
up.
only
Yeah. And
thing you
it's
need to
like,
do is show up. Yeah.
yeah. And
Wow.
it's, it it's going to be a space of, you're going to feel taken care of. You're going to be fed well. You're going to be hugged, by the way. Like, if I don't know you, I doesn't matter. You're coming in hot. Like, it's just a space for you to be able to show up as your authentic self and start where you are. And
Mhm.
I used to talk about it a lot, going, what the hell do I have to offer when it comes down to a retreat? Like, I
Yeah.
hire facilitators, like, yeah, I bring people together, or like I'll organize things. But I was like, other than, I craft a lot and we do stuff like that. But it was like, what am I offering? And so this is my first retreat where I get to do some coaching, and we
I
get
see
to
that
really,
huge.
oh, I'm so excited
Yeah.
about it.
Because
Yeah.
when you planned the Canmore one, I felt like my visual was like you put yourself outside of here and you put all of us facilitators inside of here,
Yeah.
and you were the coordinator. You're like, okay, and you're going to go at this time and you're going to go at this time. And I'm like, you're freaking awesome at that. But you left yourself outside of the
Yeah.
circle. And I knew I'm like, she has way
Mhm.
more to offer than she even knows. And then now it's like come around and like you're in the circle now. You're like, and this is what I'm doing. This is mine. And then
Yeah.
here's your time, right? And it's like you're still getting to be really good at both things.
Yeah.
But that's where I think that I saw the difference. And because I could have told you that 1,000 times,
Mhm.
and maybe I did, but until you know it yourself, that you pulled up a chair at the same table as the people that you were looking at thinking that we were valuable and we
Oh,
earned
yeah.
like, oh, you deserve a seat at this table. And now I was like so excited for you because I'm like, oh, she's actually taking the seat at the head of the table. Like,
Mm.
I'm really good at creating this, and I'm really good at being part of the people who are at the table. So
Yeah.
that's why I think this one to me even feels different.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
some people are really good at being the director of things and being on the outside of the table, and it'll be an amazing retreat. But I knew I was like, no, she has a piece that belongs here. And when
Yeah.
she realizes it, um,
Yeah. It's so good. And I have to say too, like I think I've talked about it before too, is that like I'm only able to do it because I have such a great support system. Like
mm,
there's I have a lovely team. And okay, so this is crazy not so Andrea of like I want to do this thing and I want world domination when it comes down to like leadership and coaching, and I want people to wake up excited about their lives and knowing where they're going and having purpose. And I'm talking to my friends, and they're like, we're in.
mm,
Cool. Like,
wow.
great, let's go. And then it just took off from there. And, so I really valued that, like, I have these skills to bring people together, but also like I have these great women that are supporting me and my vision, and it's supporting them. So I haven't even introduced them yet. Like, so, uh, Courtney Brunkern is just like operations manager. We are total opposites as far as how we live our life. I am the squirrel and
Oh,
she is like the tree. She
I
is,
love it.
yes. And she is our operations manager. She's got everything lined up. She's, so passionate about it. Um, but she doesn't want to be in front of it.
Wow. Yeah, yeah,
So I was
that's
like,
cool.
perfect. Like, I trust this person to do all these things. And, that is fantastic. And then Sam Lucier, she's coming in. Sam has been my ADHD partner in crime for the last, few years. And we create this beautiful space together. And it just works so well. Like we can show up and we are two squirrels in the tree as we go. And Courtney doesn't understand it, but I was like, don't worry about it. We'll get it done. Like it'll be amazing. So we're gonna turn this rural hall into this place of, great belonging and connection and community. And we're gonna do it in like 4 hours.
Mhm,
That's the magic that Sam gets to bring, is like it just gets done, and it's so supportive, and it's easy. Like
mhm.
it was easy. They said yes. I had to say yes, and I had to sort of move out of my role of doing all the doing to trusting, you know, that this other person
Wow.
will do it. So like again, like it's such a good learning for me. It's such a good space for me to practice. But then also at the same time, like impact people in a way that it's going to be transformational. It might be your moment of, I remember that time I went to this retreat, it was in Rollyview, and this is where things started for me. So like, that's my vision.
Yeah.
That's the,
I love that it's accessible too, because I think you've really taken into account a few things. Like it's wonderful to be able to go on retreats, out of country or to the
mm,
mountains, and
mm,
we deserve that. It's great. And, in the climate of how things are right now, financially for people
mm,
and activity wise, you're making it so accessible to people who maybe can't go away,
yeah.
far away. It's like literally, I mean, around there's tons of women that I can think of who,
Mhm.
when they gift this to themselves to show up, it's not going to feel like the hall. It it's
No,
it's
yeah,
what happens inside of the hall,
yeah.
um, that people are going to
Well,
be walking away and
and
just
it's
feeling
so
taken care
funny
of.
because yeah, like I want you to walk away feeling taken care of. I want you to feel supported, and I want you to feel, really heard and seen. And the funny thing about this, okay, so the other thing that I have an issue with is like accepting money. Like it's a worth thing,
Mhm.
so I'm working through it. I'm getting there. Um, but there's a crazy pay it forward happening at this retreat where women are not paying for themselves to come, they're paying for their friends to come because they're like, she really needs it. she needs it so bad. This is something that she needs to be at. Like, so they're recognizing. So again, we are more than happy to show up for other people. And we are more than happy to say, like, this person deserves to be there. But for us to say, I deserve to be there is such a different realm as far as, taking care. And I think that that's
Mhm.
what I'm learning too, is that I need to be able to take care of myself before I take care of anybody else. And I know
So
that it's something that everybody
putting
says
the oxygen mask.
100%.
Put
Oh,
your mask on.
hell no. I'm putting, yeah, yeah. Who would really do that? Honestly, I'm sitting next to my kid. I don't know. I know, but it's a hard thing to do. And this is 100%. It's not for everybody. That's the other thing. It's not. It is for,
Yeah.
if you're ready for it, like if you're ready to see what's next, if you want a deep dive, like definitely come. Like this is a space for you to figure that out and where you want to go. And it's it's not me doing the work, it's you doing the work when it comes down to the
Yeah.
the coaching part, but then also with you and Isabel Fry's coming, she's going to come do a beautiful sound bath for us. Like it's putting you in these states where you need to be. It is like the retreat is really based around like the seven sacred rests. And it's about being creative, being connected. It's about having deep conversations. It's about nourishing yourself with good food. And, it's about putting your cell phone aside. It's about putting your cares and worries somewhere else and really focusing on yourself, which is a hard thing for high
Mhm.
capacity women to do because when you're used to doing everything, it's really
But
hard
I
to put
think that's
yourself
the
first.
nice piece. That's why you're
Yeah.
really good at this because, it's people need that. It's like doing some work on themselves,
Mhm.
then having some space of just rest and relaxation, and then having some space of creation, and then doing some work on themselves, right? Because I find sometimes we can get so fixated on like this is why I've even been toying with this whole idea of like I don't even like the word healing anymore
Mm. Yeah.
because I feel like that sort of infers that there's something wrong and we have to
Yeah.
focus on doing something. But ultimately, my definition of that has changed. I think that everything knows what it needs to do. We just need to have that right environment. And then, like you use the word transform, we can transform in there because the actual circumstances that are provided there are meeting the needs of all of the things that we need
Mhm.
so we don't have to just go in and think, "Oh, there's something wrong, so I need to heal." No, it's like if I could allow myself to, like, explore, get curious. So I was even thinking the other day, I was like, "Hmm, I don't even know if I like Leslie Wu healing anymore." It infers that, like, there's
Yeah.
something wrong. And
Yeah.
it's not that I'm gonna go and change it right away, but I like getting curious about why all of a sudden has that shifted for me
Mhm.
into something else.
Yeah. And one of the words that's coming up a lot lately is like the becoming. It's not, I'm not
Mm,
fixing anything. I'm not, but I'm be I'm becoming like the woman I'm supposed
mm,
to be. And I think that there's something really powerful about, like we talked about, like the perimenopause, turning 40 or that age of getting into your, later years as a woman, you're finally able to say, okay, it's my time. I've enough
mm.
is enough. I have sacrificed for either um if you have kids, you sacrifice for your kids. You say a lot of things like, well, when they get older or when they can do this, like I'll do that, and there'll be lots of time for me. And then but you don't know that, so that's another thing too, is like, again, I don't want to go down this whole road of not enough, but like you just don't know. So why are
Mhm.
you waiting, and who's benefiting from waiting? It's definitely not you. It's definitely not your kids or your partner or your, work or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
so why wait? It's uh
Mhm.
it's an interesting thing when you talk about these things with people because they either get really uncomfortable
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like, they start squirming and they're like, all right, well, I gotta go now. Or they're like, yeah, like they lean in and they're like, okay, I'm interested in this. So if you're leaning in, like that's who I want to talk to. Like
And it
let's
just
go.
sparks some inspiration, like again, it's like, yeah, you might be at this puddle, but there's a spark of inspiration because they're like, and especially if it's people who've been watching from afar, they're like,
Mhm.
oh, we saw you transition through here and here and here. And like, and you're still alive, you're still okay.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, maybe I'll dip my toe in. And I think that's what we're supposed to be. I think that we can all inspire and be a mentor, especially when we're being authentic, just like you and I
Yeah.
are saying here. Like when you're really just showing up and saying, actually, I don't have all the answers. Like I'm still in the
Mhm.
messy middle. But here's one thing I do know is that I trusted myself and I'm making my way through that messy middle a little bit different than I was before.
Yeah. And I kind of think like, you know, I'm s- I'm feeling really fortunate to be and have that kind of mentality, whereas I don't mind jumping into the puddle first and going, yeah, well, it's gross in here, but I'm still here. So like, come on, let's go. Like I really I'm feeling really fortunate to be able to have that kind of personality and um willingness to sort of do hard things first and not know what's going to be on the other side. So I am really thankful that I have noticed that that is something that I can bring to this world. And it's not something that I've always identified as something that is a gift, but I was just measuring the wrong things. So,
Mm, I love it. Well, thanks for sharing your medicine. And
yeah,
before we stop recording, is there still space in the retreat? This is
yes, yes, there
April
is. April
24th.
24th. Yeah, so early bird pricing is open until the 11th, so like this week. Um, and I mean, honestly, if you want to be there, let's figure out how you can be there. This is, if you want to be there, let's do it. There's payment plans, there's whatever. We'll make it happen. It'll be really good. She'll be there. Yeah, right.
I'll
Yeah,
be there.
we'll
I'll
be
be
there.
there.
We have some great people. We'll have
My
great
calendar's
food.
marked off.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'll post the link and stuff in the description so that people
perfect.
can find it too. But
Check it out.
yeah, I think it'll be well, thanks for
Yeah.
sharing your
Yeah.
medicine.
Thank you for providing the space for this. I'm super pumped to be part
It's
of it. So,
it's fun. It's really
yeah.
fun.
Yeah. In
Okay,
circle.
well,
I love it.
yeah.